Welcome back, folks. I want to introduce you to my next guest. This is Gwen Rich. Now, Gwen's company, Gwen Marie Collection, is one of our sponsors here at The Blaze, and her personal story, as well as her professional story, are both pretty incredible. Gwen, thank you so much for coming onto the show today. Now, as I read it, you were diagnosed with incurable cancer 4 years ago now. 4 years ago. It's a little bit over 4, but yet you're sitting here with us right now, and I know so much. I feel like I know so much about this disease, personally. Every member of my family, we've gone through this over and over again with my family. And so your personal story really resonated with me. Tell folks a little bit. You're sitting right here with us and you look fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very blessed, very thankful. I know it's, the Lord our God He wants me to be here. Because unfortunately the stats for my late stage diagnosis is 25% of the women will actually make it to 5 years or more. So I'm almost there, and my free will, I have to try to do everything I can to improve my quality of health while I'm here, and that's what I'm doing.
Right.
So
no, exactly.
It's very important. So I feel really good.
Did this sort of fuel part of your, because we're here, we're going to be talking about, this is like your work, this is what you do.
Right.
How did this come about? Is it something that you had to power through in dealing and getting over this mountain, so you kind of threw yourself into this? And this has an amazing backstory as well. It's beyond just a concealed carry bag. Give us some insight on that.
Not really. It was nothing I had to power through. I mean, I think if you talk to most women who have a diagnosis or incurable, I mean, you just kind of have to keep going. You can't really think about it too much.
Right.
And so after my diagnosis, it took me about 6 months to figure out what I wanted to do. I felt it was really important that I did something that had an impact with the rest of the time, besides raising my kids.
Right.
I wanted to leave a legacy. And so through that process, there's some themes that happen when I talk to people about my diagnosis, and it was, well, make sure whatever you do for the rest of the time you have left that you're passionate about it. Yes, I'm in the cancer club and it really sucks, and you feel like you're alone. And the other was that a lot of people are really disenfranchised with the major organizations that raise money for breast cancer research, because so little of the money actually goes to breast cancer research.
And then there's some of the political affiliations, which has given a lot of people great cause, and they seem to get a lot of the attention from these organizations that really put a lot of muscle towards research.
Right. Right. And so going back to being passionate about something, so after I was diagnosed and a month later I broke my neck, so I was in the recovery period. And so I went back to sewing. I love to sew, and like everybody else, you're busy, and with life gets in the way, you usually can't do your hobbies.
Right.
And so I had done domestic stuff and garments, but this was the first time I decided to do a handbag, and a leather handbag. And so I really enjoyed it, and it happened to be just right before the holidays, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make one for all the women in my family for the holidays. So when I started to think about my mom, and okay, hers has to be really special because she's my mom, and also she's a breast cancer survivor, the light bulb went off.
Right.
And it was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Going back from people disenfranchised with the organizations out there, this is my passion. I feel that women don't want to feel alone. It's a way of connecting and comforting the cancer community. So my husband thought it was a great idea, ran it by a number of people. They said, yes, this is a great idea. So,
and because you're also, not to interrupt you, but you're also a huge Second Amendment activist, because you and we've sat at some tables before at some ladies' luncheons at some places, and we've talked about firearms, and these are concealed carry bags. That's a concealed carry clutch.
That is a much formal one. And initially what's interesting is I didn't start out the collection with this in mind. It was actually at the bottom of the list. And so when people had my handbag and I said, please, I want your criticism, or good or bad, what do you like about the functionality about my bag? And so I had someone who came and said, hey, why don't you do a conceal and carry? And with the climate and the culture, and I had just gone in to get my permit and practice, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. And I couldn't find anything that I enjoyed.
Especially. Yeah, that's the other thing, because they all look like fanny packs.
Yeah, exactly.
And so show me a little bit with this clutch in particular, because that's one thing that I hear from a lot of women. If they are going out to an evening event, for instance, I cannot stand to wear a thigh holster. I hate it. And a lot of them, if you're wearing foundation garments anyway, and you wear a corset or
there's
something,
no
it's
way.
difficult. So give us
Right.
a little demonstration with
So
this.
yeah, this is a much more formal bag, and you know, like every woman, you ask 10 women what are they like in the handbag, you're going to get 20 answers.
Right.
But you know, a lot more women like to carry much more over your shoulder
Right,
or
right.
that.
But you do have these events.
Yes, exactly. And so this, you know, a conceal and carry handbag, they either have an exterior or interior compartment. So with this handbag, we have the exterior. This holds a smaller handgun. On the
It'd be
inside,
like your pocket carry piece,
exactly.
the little 380.
So
right.
on the inside, then it has its own self compartment. So I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
So for instance, these handbags have the exterior pocket, but you don't have an interior
So you
way
could
to
be
get
walking
into
out
it.
and just have your hands sort of in the
Exactly.
side. And,
Right, right.
Very, very indiscreet.
Oh, yeah,
but
no one would
incredibly
ever know.
functional at the same time.
Exactly, which is
Now,
very
a portion
important.
of your proceeds also go towards supporting research, which it almost seems like there's never enough that you can throw towards research, and that was very important to you. And also, I want to note that each of these particular designs are named after a survivor. We have about a minute left. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I started the collection. We launched with 5 of the handbags that were named after cancer survivors. So one being my mother, that's Lorraine Tote, my sister-in-law who has the Brox gene, and then a couple other people that were in my support group, and then a longtime friend of my husband's. And so it was just really important to me to connect everything. It's about connecting and comforting the cancer community.
Right.
It really is.
And these women now have a concealed carry bag that is named after them.